I just wanted to make a quick short video walking you through this credit repair guide to give you some extra tips and strategies for improving your credit, securing your financial future, and just kind of give you how I got started, some things that I use to improve my credit, because it's been a long journey for me. My credit, before I started taking it seriously, was actually in the low 500s. I mean, it was the bottom of the barrel. And it wasn't until I started taking my credit seriously that I made some significant improvements to it. And it's not a complicated process, but there are some things that you should be aware of, and some really cool tricks that you can use to start improving your credit, both in the short term and long term. So that's what I want to walk you through right now. The first place that I recommend starting, because this is a little bit more of a long term process right here, is the dispute process. And essentially, what the dispute process is, you're basically challenging certain items and accounts on your credit reports. What you're probably not aware of is that, millions and millions of Americans have errors on their credit reports that have a very negative impact on their credit score, and they don't even know that they're there. And I know this because I was one of them. When I started taking my credit serious, and I obtained all three of my credit reports and really did what we call the credit report analysis, I found, multiple errors, but I found one of the biggest ones was a $9,300 account with a company I had never even heard of before and never even been associated with. The original creditor was this big steel company, which I have absolutely nothing to do with the steel industry, guys. So needless to say, I was completely baffled by this. So that's why it's so important to look at your credit reports at least once a year, maybe twice. But there's so many potentially errors on your credit report. Like, this is where we recommend all of our clients start their credit restoration journey. And this is part of the credit restoration roadmap that we have inside of the UCES protection plan. Highly recommend looking into this, guys. You can click on the button on any of the buttons or links on this guide to learn more. But this is basically what you get access to. And the credit attorneys actually draft your dispute letters for you. We send them to you, you sign them, and then send them off. But we basically draft it after you submit your credit reports, and we begin the dispute process. And you're basically sending these dispute letters to these credit bureaus saying, hey, I don't recognize this account, or this is an error. I want this removed immediately. And by law, they are required to investigate that item or account. And if it cannot be verified, it's removed immediately. So this is how people can significantly improve their credit in a relatively short amount of time. It doesn't take very long. As long as you're consistent with this, it doesn't always take very long to do this. So, but very important. And then, obviously following up, doing additional disputes. If you decide to do this on your own, I'd recommend maybe 1 or 2, 3 accounts or items at a time, because you could get overwhelmed. Obviously with the UCES protection plan, we do it all at once for you. But 1, 2, 3 at a time, just make sure you're following up. Okay, so definitely start your dispute process. Take a really good hard look at your credit report. You can go to annualcreditreport.com and get it for free and just take a look. Next, while you're doing that, is to start some ongoing credit building strategies here as well. So these can get you actually even more short-term results as well, or immediate results, just because of the nature of the strategy. So secured credit cards, we actually have a special program inside of the UCES protection plan where you can get a secured credit card, and it's not based on credit. It's based on the collateral that you put down, which is, it could be a few $100s. It's really up to you. But let's say you put $500 down as collateral for the card. It's basically like you're putting money into an account and charging against that, basically, is what the secured credit card is. But it's a really great way to build credit because they're typically easy to get, and it doesn't require really good credit to have. So if you're getting turned down by a lot of credit card offers or credit card companies, this could be a good way to go. Rent reporting, super powerful, guys. A lot of people have no idea that you can do this. I didn't know you could do this for the longest time. But there's programs out there where you can actually report your rent payments every month to the credit bureaus. And again, we have a special program inside the protection plan with this, but definitely do your research on this if you're renting, because that's a massive payment. It's usually your biggest payment, biggest bill every month. You want to be reporting that. That can be really good for your credit. Authorized users, a little bit more advanced, but essentially you can become an authorized user on somebody else's credit card account and get the benefits of the payment history, the length of the account, things like that. So if somebody has good credit, you can actually kind of piggyback off of that a little bit. That's also what it can be known as the piggyback strategy. So that's something that you can look into, and having a really good, like a reliable, consistent debt payoff system is really important as well. And guys, the way I got started and what I typically recommend to clients is start with your smaller accounts first. So let's say you have a $200 credit card account, credit card, yeah, amount, whatever. And then you have a $2,000 one. Well, obviously, it's going to be much easier to pay that $200 one than the 2,000. So we typically recommend starting off with your smaller accounts, and we give you a really good debt payoff system inside of the protection plan. But one thing to note too is to do your research on learn a little bit more about paying off debt before you do it. And we have an entire section on debt and collections here inside of the UCES program protection plan, where it tells you, I mean, because you don't want to just, like, if you're, let's say your account's in collections, you don't want to just call the creditor and just pay it off. You want to make sure that there's an agreement that they will remove the account from your credit report. So a lot of agencies, these collection agencies, you got to be really careful with them. You'll pay it off, but they won't remove it from your credit report. So that's something that you want to look into. You want to validate the debt as well. Make sure it's yours. Make sure the statute of limitations has not rendered it obsolete. Basically, that means is if it's too old to be on your credit report and it shouldn't be there anymore, well, you don't have to pay it now. Okay, so you definitely want to learn a bit more about debt and collections before paying these off, but just keep that in mind because this can, again, a longer term strategy for securing your financial future and improving your credit. So make sure you have a debt payoff system in place. And then finally, you want ongoing monitoring. So obviously, if you're going to do all this work to improve your credit, you want to make sure that these things don't happen again. These big errors and things and erroneous accounts that can end up on your credit report. So having 24/7 credit monitoring is really powerful. It's included with your UCES protection plan, but having any type of credit monitoring is really important so that you know right away if there's a major change or account that's been added or anything, so that you can address it if it's incorrect, so it doesn't negatively impact your score. And then having some type of identity theft protection as well, also included in the protection plan. But identity theft and fraud is one of the number one growing crimes in America, maybe the world, I'm not sure, but it's really important because a lot of the times these types of errors that end up on your credit monitoring is the result of some type of identity fraud. So it's really important that you have this as well. Inside of our plan, you get up to $1 million of identity theft protection. So if something major does happen, you're covered. So, but that's pretty much it, guys. That's the credit repair guide here. Hopefully this helps. This will get you started on the right path. There's some I'm telling you guys, this stuff works really well. There's some really powerful stuff in here. And if you start implementing this, you're going to see some pretty significant changes to your credit. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot us an email. Send us a message on Facebook. Click any of these buttons or images to learn more about the UCES protection plan. Get started. I'm telling you guys, for me, it's been the best investment every month in my financial future. I can't recommend it highly enough. So, yeah. So if you have any questions, let us know. And hopefully, I hope this was helpful. And I look forward to hearing your success story at some point about how you've improved your credit. So take care, and we'll talk to you.